Steven Spielberg is one of American cinema's defining directors, yet the film he calls the greatest in his country's history is actually a brutal takedown of its past. As a trailblazing filmmaker who changed the course of Hollywood history as he helped birth the summer blockbuster with Jaws, Spielberg hasn't been shy about praising his contemporaries. While many might point to E.T. the Extraterrestrial, Raiders of the Lost Ark, or Schindler's List as the pinnacle of American cinema, Spielberg pointed to the work of Francis Ford Coppola when discussing the greatest movie to come out of his country. As an Oscar-winning director with several classics to his name, Spielberg understands the inspiring power of film. Having tackled everything from action movies to musicals, Spielberg has an instinctive understanding of the art form, and his comments signal his admiration for uncompromising cinema that reveals the dark underpinnings of America's history. As a film that set a new standard for the gangster genre, Spielberg's praise reflects its enduring appeal, more than 50 years after its release. Why Steven Spielberg called The Godfather the greatest American film ever made. Marlon Brando in The Godfather opening scene. In a tribute to Francis Ford Coppola held at the American Film Institute, Spielberg spoke about the impact of The Godfather, calling it the greatest American film ever made. As a story of family, loyalty, and the corrupting nature of power and violence, this 1972 Best Picture-winning film reflects the dark underbelly of American society through the experiences of immigrants. Spielberg explained how Coppola redefined the canon of American film and inspired a generation of storytellers who want to make you proud of their work. As an adaptation of Mario Puzo's novel, The Godfather became one of the rare films considered better than its source material, followed 2 years later by the equally acclaimed The Godfather Part II. Although filmmakers don't often publicly comment on their contemporaries' work, Spielberg's tribute to Coppola showcased an earnest admiration for his films, even going so far as to say, "I always want to make you proud of my work." As two titans of Hollywood, it's inspiring to hear such reaffirming positivity from Spielberg, who clearly holds Coppola's work in the highest regard. The Godfather is really a criticism of American history and the American dream. Al Pacino as Michael Corleone in The Godfather. At its core, The Godfather serves as a powerful critique of American history and the darker aspects of the American dream. With Marlon Brando's portrayal of Vito Corleone as a fearsome boss and the head of an organized crime family, the ripple effects of his self-made transformation from an impoverished immigrant to a ruthless mafia leader showcase how ambition can breed corruption. Coppola himself spoke with the BBC about the themes of The Godfather in 1991, stating, "I've always felt The Godfather was really less about gangsters than about power and powerful families, and the succession of power, and the Machiavellian way that real power works in the world." This highlights the cyclical nature of violence and crime in the US. At just 29 years old when he first adapted Puzo's novel, Coppola was able to capture the erosion of family bonds and personal innocence as organized crime began to take hold in the darkest corners of American society. By portraying criminals with psychological depth and emotional complexity, The Godfather elevated the gangster genre to a new level of artistry. While Vito's backstory was more fully explored in the sequel, it was the degradation of his son Michael Corleone that drove the narrative arc, as he found himself drawn into his family's criminal endeavors and morally destroyed by the alluring appeal of power. The Godfather showcased, better than any film before it, how crime and ambition shatter ethical foundations. The Godfather's criticism of America cements it as the best American movie of all time. Al Pacino during the wedding scene in The Godfather. The Godfather reflected a side of America that's often hidden beneath the facade of white picket fences and quaint, idealized suburbia, showcasing a criminal underworld full of betrayal, bloodshed, and violence. As a damning critique of a nation whose history is littered with greed, deceit, and broken promises, Coppola's uncompromising vision truly stood the test of time. While many great Hollywood films highlight the country's virtues, The Godfather explores how making it in America often requires people to compromise their ethics and lose touch with their humanity. Coppola stated that he was drawing on the themes and ideas from grand works of literature, such as Shakespeare and Greek drama, and adapting them to an American context. The Godfather addresses the complex history of America and does not shy away from the ways in which criminal organizations rose from the ashes of World War II and carved out empires built on blood. The Corleones represented a family driven by self-interest, who were unconcerned about the lives lost and destroyed in their wake.